Hello, and thanks for joining me here at Clear into Balance. My name is Jamie. I'm so happy you're here. Today I'm going to be talking about our beliefs and why it's so important to be mindful of the beliefs that you choose to take on in this reality. So, I've been taught through holographic kinetics and my teacher, Steve Richards, that our beliefs are so powerful that they actually override our own spirit, which means that if you have a belief locked in about something, as much as you want to change your reality, as much as you're asking for your reality to shift, it cannot be shifted because your spirit's kind of hands are tied. And I've come up against so many limiting beliefs, like just even in the last 6 months in my session. And I have been chipping away at issues for the last 6.5 years using holographic kinetics. So it's been really interesting because the thing that happens is that these beliefs can get locked in a past life. It could get locked in as early as conception, which is when the spark of our spirit comes into our physical body in our mother's womb. And that happens actually right when two people physically connect. So you can have limiting beliefs locked in at spirit level from that. You can have it coming down either of your genetic lines, or you can have it coming from past lives. All of these things we're living unconscious of, right? We don't even remember what experiences we had to be able to then remember what beliefs we locked in about them. This is why positive affirmations don't really make much of a difference. It can shift the way you look at things, which is really important. I think the way we look at things, our perspective, really shapes our reality a lot because, we can go through something and look at it either as being like we're a victim and we're pointing fingers at everything and everyone else but ourselves, or we can choose to look at the things we go through as things to grow us that are happening for us so that we can get more clear, so that we can be made aware of things that are holding us back in this reality. So, I think everything has its place, and a lot of people end up on a path that eventually gets them to wanting to find the root cause of their issues. I don't think any of us are really satisfied with putting band-aids over our problems, which is how I got into holographic kinetics to begin with, because I was a nurse in the hospital and then I got into doing Reiki for people. Both were just band-aids for the larger issue at hand. Both were just placating symptoms and not actually getting to the root cause, because the reality is that we can only change our own creations. We can't change other people's creations. So in terms of beliefs, like imagine, and I've cleared this one, imagine if you have the belief locked in at the spirit level that life is hard. What do you think you're going to get? What is your reality going to keep showing you over and over? Another one that I had locked in at the spirit level was like being in a victimhood mentality, thinking I was a victim of circumstance. Again, what is that going to get you? You're probably going to have experiences over and over that make you feel that way. That's what our beliefs get us. And so long as we believe in something, it's all we can experience in this reality. Spirit, the universe, cannot give us a different reality unless we clear those beliefs. One way to do that is with holographic kinetics. It's the only way I actually know to get to the root cause of issues and actually have the potential to clear them. And when I say clear them, I mean stop experiencing them altogether. So you think of it this way. We're born into this reality, right? And as a hologram of our mother, so we experience her emotions, her thoughts as our own a lot of the time, especially when we're in the womb, and especially, at birth, all these different times in our life, we're really connected to our mother. If she is having a bad experience with the thing that she's going through, if she has a bad experience at conception, if she has a bad experience at birth, it doesn't go the way that she wants. Imagine the things that she can lock in then. And the thing is that as you're in the womb, your reality is so shaped by your mother's experience that I've taken on a lot of thoughts and beliefs and emotions from my mother during that time in the womb. And so, a lot of this stuff is so much deeper than our consciousness is aware of. So much more than what we're consciously aware of, because while our spirit has been with us through this life and all past lives and knows the root cause of all of our issues, our conscious human mind does not usually remember those things. Some people remember their past, but that's more rare. So, as a whole, most of us are walking around with these beliefs locked in and we don't even know where it came from. We keep seeing the same repeating things happening over and over in our lives, and we don't understand why is it that I'm getting the same relationship with a different meat suit? Why is it that this same thing keeps happening to me over and over again? Why do I keep feeling so attacked in this reality? Why do I keep feeling so defensive? All of these things, can be impacting us and we don't know the root cause. So for me, when I notice something like that is affecting me, I take it to a session, a holographic kinetic session. Now, beliefs come from all over though. It's not just coming from our mother. Think of it. We get sent to school so young. We're very impressionable at that time. Our brains are like sponges. Anything that our teachers are telling us, a lot of the times we take it on as truth. Is it all truth? No. In fact, most things we're taught in school aren't actually truth. We're taught backwards and upside down in this reality all the time for pretty much everything you can think of. But, we're getting beliefs from there. We're taking them on from parents. We're taking them on from extended family. We could get beliefs from the government, from doctors, from universities. I was taking on so many beliefs when I was in university that I've had to deprogram from myself, because it's not necessarily truth that's taught, it's the truth they want you to believe that's taught. So when you start unraveling all of this and you start unraveling the nature of this reality and what it actually is and who we actually are, which is a spirit having this human experience, not just this physical human body. We've been here for many lifetimes. We've had so many different experiences, and through those experiences, we could have limitations locked in, and that's okay, right? What I found, though, is a key to basically unravel that and start getting more clear and start getting to a place where I'm much more mindful now of what's running through my head. When I started this journey of, I will call it mindfulness, is how it started out. Back in 2015, I would say is an easy place to start it. And I started to become aware of what I was thinking all the time, and then becoming aware of that our thoughts create our reality. I was like, holy shit, I'm not thinking very good things towards myself a lot of the time. I was having a lot of negative thoughts, I noticed. So for me, meditation was a great way to just get used to quieting my mind. I wasn't trying to go to other dimensions or go through some portal. That was never my intention. In fact, you got to be mindful if that's your intention, because you go into other dimensions, guess what? You can bring beings back with you. So, a whole other topic, but just getting quiet in your mind so that you can pay attention to what's going on versus just having a constant rampage of endless thought streams can be so important, because then as you're going through things, you can notice when you're not at point zero, when you're reacting to things. You can notice when you start having thoughts come up and you start thinking in a way to where you could start taking on a belief about something. Have you ever seen the movie Inception? So they went through this whole crazy process to plant the seed of thoughts in other people's minds, okay? A whole big process. The reality is, it doesn't take all of that to plant a seed in someone's mind. All it takes is a video like this, is a commercial on your television, is an ad, is, a TikTok video about a product, someone eating something while they're making the video. Notice how that makes you crave things, makes you think things, and you can start to sort of look around and see man, what are they trying to get us to believe? What are they wanting us to believe? What are the powers that be wanting us to take on? Mostly it's things that are disempowering us. Mostly it's things to keep us feeling small, stuck, and unable to change our reality. Because guess what? When you realize the power of your own spirit, when you understand, which I feel like I still only sort of am getting it now, the power of your own spirit to completely change your reality, which means you could create anything you want, everything changes. Everything changes. When you step into that kind of power, guess what? You don't need schools. You don't need people telling you what to do. You don't even worry about the sources for information, because guess what? At this point, I can feel what's true and what's not true, because my spirit knows what's true and what's not true. When you tap into that inner knowing, which is your intuition of your spirit communicating with you, which happens in split-second feelings. It's not this it's not this conversation. It's not voices in your head. If you have voices in your head, that's a whole other thing. You should clear those. But it's just that inner knowing, that really quick second of excitement, that quick yes or quick no. You know, for me, a no might come from a sinking feeling in my stomach. And I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that. Okay? It's that quick. It's not a long drawn out process. So it's really crucial in this time to be mindful of what you're choosing to take on as a belief, of what you're choosing to think is the answer, the truth. And B, it's really important to start honing in on your intuition and building that ability to tune in to what your spirit knows and is telling you through those subtleties, because so much out here in this reality is meant to confuse and distract us. And when you can feel into what's true or not, it shifts everything. Then you don't need a bibliography from someone telling you something. You don't need sources. You're not like, oh, can you tell me where you heard that? Like, can you cite that for me? Like, no, I'm not citing anything for you, you know. Cite it for yourself. Start learning how to do that and clear out any blocks that you feel like maybe you have to knowing what's intuitively yours. Because that was an important key too on my journey. Clearing things that weren't my intuition out of my field and from my reality, so that I could get more clear in my knowing of my own spirit's knowledge. So if you want to change your reality, you got to get real with yourself. You got to get real with yourself. And you've got to be willing to look at things differently, because obviously what you've been doing hasn't been working. And if it's not working, then the way you choose to get out of that is by doing something different, by looking into different things, by maybe acknowledging that there's a way to move through life that doesn't have to be a struggle, that doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to be all guided by doctors and pills and injections and what your TV tells you. I don't even have a TV anymore. I haven't had a TV for a long time at this point, and I'm so glad. It's all just programming. It's all just trying to get you distracted from your own power and from your own knowing and from your intuition. So turn everything outside off for a little while every day and tune into yourself. That's how you start getting more in touch with your own spirit. That's how you start lining more up with your own spirit. And to me, that's everything in this reality. You get aligned with your own spirit and you start following your intuition, things will line up in your life just so, and it'll look like magic, but it's not. It's just alignment. So everyone has access to that. There's no other magic formula. Like, I'm not trying to sell a product. I'm telling you that the key is within you, and you have the ability to change anything. So I hope you have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.